your name?
I'm Zung. My full name is Thủy Dương.
That's great. How can I call you?
You can call me. You can call me Zung, or if it's too hard to pronounce, you can call me Anna.
So Zion, do you work or study?
I'm currently a student, and I'm in grade 11th.
That's great. So let's talk about morning routines and breakfast. Do you like to get up early?
Uh, Getting up early is not usually my preference, but I would do it if my parents require me to do so. I usually like to sleep in a little.
Is breakfast important for you?
Yes, I think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I tend to put a lot of care and attention into making my breakfast nutritious.
What's your morning routine like?
Preferably, I would get up and uh, do my hygiene routine, and then I would get started on cooking breakfast. And after that, I would do a little bit of chores around the house, and finally, I would just get started on some work during the day.
Okay. Do you like the morning or the evening?
I think that I prefer the evening because uh, in the evenings I have more free time and I can finally wind down after a long day, and I can also entertain myself with sorts of movies or social media according to my likings.
That's great. What do you actually do in the evenings?
In the evening, I usually uh, first I would go on social media and relax for around an hour, and after that I would sneak in a little bit of studying for around 2 hours or three to get the most out of the day.
That's great. So let's move on to part two of the IELTS speaking test. You will be given a cue card and you will have 1 minute to prepare your talk. And then you will need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen now.
That's great. So your time begins now. Your time is up. You can start
Okay.
speaking now.
Okay, so there's this one time I was in my classroom and my male classmates were, making a lot of noises and they were disturbing everyone around. So it was just a normal kind of lesson, but the teacher had gone out of the classroom and she left us there to study by ourselves. And uh, usually we would be pretty polite as to keep the classroom as as decent and as uninterrupted as possible. But during that particular lesson, my male classmates were really noisy and they were playing video games during the lesson, and they were just like shouting all over the classroom and just disturbing everyone in the classroom. And I got really irritated. Um, yeah, not only they made a lot of noises, but they also cursed, and they also yelled names. And even though I felt really irritated, I didn't do anything about it. I just waited for the lesson to be over. And when I got back home, I just wondered if I had, stood up and talked to them about it. Something could have changed during the lesson, and the overall atmosphere of the classroom would have been more quiet and more, you know, um, pleasant for everyone in the class.
That's great. So let's move on to part three of the speaking test. And in part three, we will also be talking about noise. Should children not be allowed to make noise under any circumstances?
Uh, no, I don't think that is an sound request. I think it's quite absurd to make children quiet all the time because naturally, children has the tendency to speak to inquire people around them of what they don't know, and they need to explore their curiosity. And I think that prohibiting a child from making noises and speaking is just not beneficial for the child or the parents or anyone around overall. They should still be able to speak, but at a polite extent. That's why.
What type of noise do you come across in your daily life?
Um, well, regularly, I would encounter a lot of noises from transportation as my house is by right beside the road. So there's lots of traffic going on uh, in the road, and there's honking, there's uh, even sounds of, car crashes or traffic jam. And I find those sorts of noise pollution really irritating.
So is it hard to find quiet places in the area where you live in?
I think that it is a considerably challenging task, and you would have to go to some sort of remote locations or find yourself a place to retreat in order not to be disturbed by the noises.
So what do you think? Where can people hear a lot of noises?
I think areas where there are a lot of um, auditory disturbances are usually road intersections or areas like the market or areas like maybe hospitals, not actually inside the hospital, but outside of the hospital, or maybe like fairs and um, yeah, like some sorts of fair and pop-up sales. Those would attract the most a number of people and make the most noises.
Regarding fluency and coherence, she was fluent in most of the cases, and she only had some hesitations, and most of those hesitations were content related. Content related hesitation means to hesitate when searching for ideas, and it's usually before the sentence. And in most of the cases, it's okay. But in some rare cases, in some occasional cases, she had hesitations which were a little related to finding words or grammar at the middle of these sentences. For example, she occasionally said,
Fairs and um,
the most important thing was that she developed the topic and she answered all the questions relevantly, which is really important for the fluency and coherence. And I overall would rate her fluency and coherence as a band 8. Most of the words she uses were topic specific. For example, she told hygiene routine, do chores, nutritious, wind down after a long day, sneak in a little bit of studying, irritated, road intersections, pop-up sales, and these words helped her to show that she can use those words in most of the cases. She also paraphrased it really effectively. In very rare cases, I was not 100% sure whether the word that she used was actually relevant in the context. Moving on to grammatical range and accuracy, she had a great grammar. She did not make any significant mistakes, and overall rate her grammatical range and accuracy as a band 8. Accuracy was awesome, but if there were a little more some grammatical structures, then I would rate her as a band 9, but still, band 8 is awesome. Regarding pronunciation, her score is 8, and I was easily understanding her during the conversation. I did not struggle to understand any of the words. She was really flexible using stress and intonation. So overall, I would give her a score of a band 8.